My fiancé declared, "Our love is toxic. Choose me or your family." I replied, "Done." Then I chose my family and sent her a bill for her share of the wedding deposits. She was frantically calling my family claiming I didn't understand her ultimatum. But I understood it perfectly. This is a story that might start like drama, but by the end, you'll realize it's about clarity, strength, and standing up for the people who matter most. Trust me, the real twist hits hard. So stay with me till the end. I, 32M, was engaged to Amber, 29F. We'd been together for 4 years. Wedding planned for next spring. Invitations were nearly ordered. Deposits already paid on a venue, caterer, photographer, the full package. Around $20,000 spent, mostly from my personal savings, with a verbal agreement we'd split costs and she'd reimburse her half later. Yeah, I know slash. That was naive. Lesson learned and paid for. The last few months leading up to all this had grown increasingly tense, especially about my family. My sister, Grace, 28F, had just had her first baby, Bobby. My parents were over the moon. And I was a proud first-time uncle. We're close. Sunday dinners, group chats, checking in daily. It was just our rhythm. It wasn't anything extravagant or suffocating, just steady family support. Amber, however, began making pointed comments. Little jabs. They're a bit much, aren't they? Or do we really need to see them again this weekend? And always the same complaint. Grace only talks about the baby. I tried to be empathetic. I told her that being around a baby can be overwhelming if you're not used to it. I said maybe she'd feel differently when we had kids, or if she had a niece or nephew of her own. But that was the wrong thing to say. She turned cold. "Are you calling me unmaternal?" She'd fire back sharply. Everything I said became fuel for her defensiveness. Then last Saturday, it all exploded. My parents were hosting a barbecue. Grace and little Bobby would be there. Amber refused to go, flat out. "Why not?" I asked, confused. She snapped. "Because, Logan, I'm sick of your family. They're always around, always inserting themselves into our lives. Our love is toxic because of them. You never choose me. It's always them. You need to choose me or your family." Her voice was acidic, seething. The worst part? My family had never been anything but warm to her. Even through her mood swings and silent treatments, they welcomed her, included her. Something inside me just settled. I didn't explode. I didn't scream. I just looked at her and said calmly, "Done?" She blinked. "Done what?" "You'll tell them to stop coming around," she asked, like she hadn't fully heard me. "No, Amber. We're done. I choose my family. You need to pack." She laughed. Actually laughed. "Logan, don't be ridiculous. You don't mean that. You didn't understand what I meant." "I understood you perfectly," I said without raising my voice. "You gave an ultimatum. I made my choice. The wedding's off. We're done." I picked up my keys, left the apartment, and drove to my parents' house. Left her standing there in disbelief. When I told my family what happened, my mom broke down in tears. My dad clenched his fists and went quiet with fury. Grace? She just looked at me like I'd finally come up for air. There was grief, yes, but also a strange wave of relief. Like a heavy weight had been lifted. The next morning, I returned to the apartment. Mine now slash. She'd taken some clothes and a few things. Left a lot behind. Her expensive vanity table. Shoes. A dozen candles that all smelled like different versions of Midnight Forest. A pile of bridal magazines with corners dog-eared. Then the text started. They came in waves. First confusion, then desperation, then white-hot anger. "Logan, you're overreacting. You can't just cancel a wedding like this. I didn't mean it like that. You were supposed to pick me, then we'd talk about setting boundaries with your family. But that's not how ultimatums work. There's no talk after the shot is fired." That Sunday, I made calls to the vendors. Caterer, photographer, venue. Explained the situation. Got plenty of sympathy, but contracts are contracts. Deposits weren't coming back. Obviously. Monday came. Time for spreadsheets. I listed every wedding expense. Total came to slash $23,500. Her share slash $10, $175. I emailed her. Subject, wedding cancellation, your share of deposits owed. Attached were the invoices, highlighted in yellow where they said non-refundable. Amber, as the wedding is canceled due to your ultimatum, please find a detailed summary of all non-refundable deposits. I require your share slash $10, $175 within 14 days. Otherwise, I'll be filing in small claims court. The explosion was immediate. My phone lit up. Calls, messages. Then came her mom, Marilyn, and her sister, Alexis. Marilyn, Logan, sweetheart, this is a huge misunderstanding. Amber's heartbroken. She loves you. You can't seriously expect her to pay for a wedding you canceled. Marilyn, she issued an ultimatum. I chose. She ended it. The financial consequences are shared. Alexis, you're a monster. She's heartbroken, and you're sending her invoices like she's some contractor. Boundaries are negotiated. Ultimatums are drawn lines in sand. She drew it. She pays for the fallout. Amber finally got through to me. Crying. Rambling. You misunderstood. I meant we needed to talk about your family, not that you'd actually pick them over me. Amber, you told me to choose. I chose. The bill still stands. Pay it or see me in court. Then I hung up. Blocked her number. Removed her from social media. She shifted tactics. Started calling my parents, my sister. Pleading with them to talk sense into me. My family stopped answering. They'd seen enough. Emails started showing up next. Half apologies wrapped in manipulation. Maybe we both made mistakes. Maybe this wasn't the right time. We can talk. But please drop the money thing. I didn't respond. Grace sent me another picture of Bobby. He was wearing a new onesie. My uncle is the best. And yeah, that helped. A few mutual friends reached out too, saying things like, Amber's really upset. She didn't mean it that way. Can't you guys talk it out? I told them the truth. She gave me an ultimatum. I made my choice. By week 2, Amber had switched strategies again. Instagram became her stage. Vague posts about heartbreak. About betrayal. Long captions with sad poetry that didn't quite rhyme. Friends commented with hearts and hugs. But no one seemed to ask what happened. She never mentioned the ultimatum. But I did. Quietly, when people asked, I told them the truth. Now I wait. 14 days ticking down. If she doesn't pay, then it's court. And this time, I'll let the law explain the cost of playing games with someone else's heart.